everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think is just absolutely fascinating, and that is whether or not AI can help us understand what animals are saying.
Yeah.
You know, we've got some amazing research here, some really groundbreaking new studies.
It is, it's really remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, scientists have been working on animal communication for decades using those sort of traditional methods, like, observing behavior and analyzing sounds.
Right.
But AI is bringing in a whole new set of tools that could really change the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things that really grabbed my attention when I was reading through all of this was the story about Joyce Poole,
Oh, yeah.
who has dedicated her life to studying African elephants.
Right.
And she had this hunch that elephants were doing more than just making random sounds.
She suspected that they might have these individualized calls, almost like names that were directed at specific members of their family group.
Whoa.
So can you imagine, after 50 years of observation, having that intuition and then needing the technology to actually test it?
Yeah.
It's really a testament to her dedication.
It's incredible. So how did she bridge that gap between intuition and scientific evidence?
Well, that's where the AI comes in.
Yeah.
Poole teamed up with Mickey Pardo to analyze nearly 500 elephant calls using machine learning.
Okay.
So they trained a model on data about, who made each call, who it was directed to, and the context. The results were pretty astounding.
Yeah, I bet. What did they find?
Well, the AI could actually predict who the call was directed to with remarkable accuracy.
Wow.
Way beyond what you'd expect from random chance. And this supports the idea that elephant calls actually contain information specific to the individual being addressed.
So they're calling each other by name?
Like they're calling each other by name.
That's a huge shift in how we understand elephant intelligence and social structure. But this isn't just about elephants, right? This type of AI analysis has implications for understanding all sorts of animal communication.
Absolutely. Think about a recording of a rainforest.
Okay.
It's just this chaotic symphony of sounds, right?
Right.
For researchers, it's like trying to pick out a single conversation in a crowded room.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's known as the cocktail party problem. And it's a major hurdle in analyzing animal sounds.
Yeah, it's like when you're at a party and you're trying to focus on one person, but all the other conversations just keep bleeding in, and it's just impossible to make sense of anything.
Exactly. But AI is offering a way to untangle those sonic knots.
Oh.
Researchers are now using a model called deep karaoke, which was originally designed to separate vocals from music, to isolate individual animal calls from these really chaotic recordings.
So they're taking a tool from the music industry and applying it to the animal kingdom.
Exactly.
I love that kind of cross-pollination of ideas.
Yeah.
What kind of impact is this having on the actual research?
Well, it's opening up incredible new avenues for understanding complex vocal interactions.
Okay.
Imagine listening to a recording of macaque monkeys.
Okay.
It's just a jumble of screeches and calls.
Right.
But with deep karaoke, researchers can suddenly isolate one clear call from a specific monkey.
Wow.
It's like they're given a sonic magnifying glass.
That's powerful. What can researchers learn by focusing on those individual calls?
Well, by isolating the calls, they can start to analyze the subtle variations, the back and forth between individuals, and potentially even uncover hidden meanings within those calls.
Right.
It's like they're able to eavesdrop on animal conversations in a way that was never possible before.
This is already so fascinating, and we're just scratching the surface here. But I'm curious, are all these AI models working in the same way? Is there more than one way to approach this problem?
You've hit on a key point.
Okay.
There are different types of AI being used in this field.
Okay.
One approach is called supervised learning, where humans label the data for the AI to learn from.
Okay.
So, for example, a researcher might manually label thousands of bat vocalizations as aggressive or mating or feeding.
So the AI is essentially being taught by example.
Right.
But wouldn't that take forever to label all that data?
Yeah.
And what about the potential for human bias creeping into those labels?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why researchers like Yossi Oval, who spent years manually annotating over 15,000 bat vocalizations, acknowledge the limitations of this approach.
Right.
Humans miss subtle nuances that are important to the bats, but invisible to us.
Right. We're imposing our own human understanding onto these animal sounds, which might not be entirely accurate.
Yeah.
It's like trying to understand a foreign language by only listening to a few basic phrases.
Right.
So what's the alternative?
Well, the real frontier in this field is something called self-supervised learning.
Yeah.
These AI models, like the one behind ChatGPT,
Right.
can learn from vast amounts of unlabeled data,
Hmm.
finding patterns and making connections on their own.
So instead of being explicitly taught,
Yeah,
they're learning by immersion.
right.
Kind of like how a child learns language by being surrounded by it.
Exactly.
It's learning by doing rather than learning by instruction.
That's a great way to put it.
That's fascinating.
And what's truly mind-blowing is this concept that language in any form might have a universal shape.
Oh, okay.
So imagine words with similar meanings clustering together in a visual representation.
Okay.
Back in 2017, researchers found that the shapes of different human languages actually align.
Wow.
So the word dog in English occupies a similar position in this visual space as chien in French.
So you're saying there's a kind of underlying structure to language that transcends specific languages.
Exactly.
That's wild. But how does this relate to animal communication? I'm having trouble making that leap.
Well, think of it this way. If language has this universal shape, could we map animal sounds onto it and find areas of overlap? Could we start to see how those seemingly chaotic sounds relate to each other in a meaningful way?
That's a really intriguing idea. It's like searching for a hidden code that connects all forms of communication.
Exactly.
But hold on a second. Animals don't just communicate with sounds, right? They use visuals, smells, gestures, all sorts of things. How can AI possibly make sense of all of that?
You're absolutely right. And that adds another layer of complexity to this challenge.
Right.
But we can take inspiration from other areas of AI research, like image generation models, like DALL-E and Midjourney.
Ah, those models that can create images from text descriptions.
Exactly.
Just saying we could use AI to translate between different sensory modalities, that's pretty mind-blowing.
Exactly. If AI can translate between images and text, perhaps it could also bridge the gap between sounds, visuals, and other forms of animal communication.
Okay.
It's still early days, but the possibilities are immense.
This is all so incredibly fascinating. It sounds like AI is giving us a glimpse into a world we never thought we could access.
I think so.
But I imagine there are still major challenges in all of this. It can't all be smooth sailing, right?
You're right. There are significant hurdles to overcome.
Okay.
For example, how do we grade an AI model's understanding of animal communication when we don't fully understand it ourselves?
Right.
It's a bit of a catch-22.
So we're asking the AI to solve a puzzle that we haven't even figured out ourselves. That seems like a pretty tall order.
It is, but that's also what makes this field so exciting.
Yeah.
It's pushing the boundaries of our understanding of both AI and the natural world. We're using these powerful tools to explore uncharted territory. And who knows what incredible discoveries await us just beyond the horizon.
I can't wait to find out. This deep dive has already given me a whole new perspective on animal communication.
Good.
And it's just getting started. Welcome back. So last time we were talking about how AI is like revolutionizing our understanding of animal communication. We even touched on that pretty mind-blowing idea that language might have a universal shape, potentially bridging the gap between us and other species.
It's a field full of possibilities, but it also raises some intriguing questions.
Right.
As we delve deeper into animal communication, we have to be really mindful of the implications of what we might discover.
That's a great point. It's not just about scientific curiosity. It's also about, respecting the autonomy and the well-being of the animals that we're studying.
Exactly.
So what are some of the things that we need to be cautious about as we venture further into this territory?
Well, one key concern is the potential for misinterpretation.
Okay.
We're relying on AI to decode these complex signals.
Right.
But how can we be sure that the AI is actually getting it right?
Right.
Especially when we don't have a complete understanding of those signals ourselves.
Yeah, it's like we're trying to read a book in a language we don't fully understand.
Exactly.
We might be able to decipher a few words here and there.
Right.
But we could so easily miss the nuances and the overall meaning.
And those misinterpretations could have real-world consequences. Imagine if we base conservation efforts or animal welfare policies on inaccurate AI interpretations of animal communication.
Oh, yeah.
We could end up doing more harm than good.
That's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
We need to be incredibly careful about how we use this technology.
Right.
And make sure that we're not jumping to conclusions based on incomplete or potentially biased data.
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility.
Absolutely. And it's not just about accuracy, it's also about respect. Even if we can decode animal communication with a high degree of certainty,
Right.
we have to be careful not to exploit that knowledge.
That's a crucial point. If we can understand their communication, could we potentially manipulate them?
Exactly.
Like, imagine using AI to decipher the calls that a mother whale uses to guide her calf,
Right.
and then using that knowledge for, I don't know, some kind of commercial purpose.
Exactly. Or think about the implications for industries like agriculture. We can understand animal desires through their communication. It could lead to new forms of both beneficial and detrimental control.
Yeah.
We need to have ethical guidelines in place long before this technology reaches that level of sophistication.
It's a bit of a tightrope walk, isn't it?
It is.
We want to unlock the secrets of animal communication and gain a deeper understanding of their world.
Yeah.
But we also need to be incredibly mindful of the potential consequences.
It's a balancing act, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not just a scientific issue. It's a societal one.
Right.
We need to have open and honest conversations about the ethical implications of this research. It shouldn't just be scientists making these decisions.
Right.
It needs to be a broader discussion involving ethicists, animal welfare advocates,
Yeah.
and the public at large.
I completely agree. It's like with any powerful technology,
Right.
we need to be thoughtful about its applications.
Exactly.
Nuclear fission can provide energy,
Yeah.
or it can be used for weapons. It
Right.
all depends on how we choose to wield it.
Precisely. And this leads to another question we need to consider.
Okay.
Are we being realistic about what we can achieve with AI and animal communication? Are we setting the bar too high?
Right.
Maybe even imposing our own human-centric view of communication onto other species?
Yeah, it's like trying to teach a fish to climb a tree.
Exactly.
Maybe we need to rethink our whole approach.
Some researchers argue that we shouldn't conflate complex animal communication with human language.
Okay.
Just because animals can communicate in sophisticated ways,
Right.
it doesn't mean they think or experience the world the same way we do.
That's a good reminder that even with all our technological advances,
Yeah.
we still have so much to learn about the natural world.
Absolutely. This isn't just about figuring out what animals are saying. It's about expanding our own understanding of consciousness, intelligence, and what it means to communicate.
Right. It's about pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and our empathy.
Exactly.
This whole conversation is making me rethink my relationship with the natural world.
Yeah. I'm already seeing things a little bit differently.
That's what's so exciting about this field. It's not just about scientific discovery. It's about challenging our assumptions and deepening our connection to the web of life. And as AI continues to evolve, who knows what incredible insights await us just around the corner.
I, for one, can't wait to find out. This deep dive has been absolutely illuminating, and it's not over yet.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into AI and animal communication. We've covered a lot of ground so far, from, the technical aspects of AI to those really complex ethical considerations.
Yeah.
And now I'm really excited to explore some real-world examples of how this technology is being used, like right now, to unlock those secrets of the animal world.
Yeah, it's an incredibly dynamic field with research happening all over the globe. One project that I find particularly fascinating is the CETI project,
Okay.
which stands for Cetacean Translation Initiative.
Okay.
And they're focusing on understanding the communication of sperm whales.
Sperm whales, those incredible deep-sea divers with the huge, boxy heads.
Right.
What makes them so interesting from a communication standpoint? What's the draw for researchers?
Well, sperm whales have these incredibly complex social structures
Okay.
and vocalizations that we're only beginning to grasp.
Okay.
They use this variety of clicks and whistles and pulsed calls that can travel for miles underwater.
Wow.
Researchers believe that those sounds carry a wealth of information about their social lives, feeding habits, and even their emotional states.
So it's like a whole underwater world of communication that we've barely even tapped into.
Exactly.
So how is AI helping to unravel those mysteries?
Well, the CETI project is using a really impressive combination of technologies.
Okay.
They're using underwater robots equipped with microphones and cameras to capture vast amounts of sperm whale vocalizations.
Okay.
Then they're using machine learning algorithms to analyze those recordings, identifying individual whales, looking for patterns, and trying to map the structure of their communication system.
So they're building a kind of dictionary or grammar of sperm whale communication. That's amazing. What have they learned so far? Any big breakthroughs?
One of the most exciting findings is that sperm whales seem to have distinct dialects based on their location.
Oh, wow.
Just like humans have regional accents. Sperm whales in different parts of the world use slightly different click, and whistle patterns.
So there are sperm whale accents. That's wild.
Yeah.
Like imagining a New York sperm whale trying to chat with a London sperm whale.
Exact.
Are there any other cool insights they've uncovered?
Yeah, researchers are also starting to identify specific calls associated with certain behaviors, like foraging, socializing, or even expressing alarm or excitement.
So it's giving us this incredible window into their inner lives and their social dynamics. It's like
Mhm.
we're finally starting to tune into the conversations that they've been having all along.
I think so.
Okay, so that's sperm whales. What other animals are researchers using AI to study?
Another fascinating project is focused on something a bit more familiar, birdsong.
Okay.
Researchers at Cornell University have developed this machine learning model called BirdNet
Okay.
that can identify over 3,000 bird species based on their songs.
Wow, 3,000 species. That's incredible.
It is.
So it's like a Shazam app for birds. You just hold up your phone,
Yeah.
record the song, and the AI tells you what kind of bird it is.
You got it. BirdNet was trained on this massive database of bird songs from all over the world.
Okay.
You can upload a recording to their app or website, and the AI analyzes the sound to tell you exactly what species you've encountered.
That's amazing. That seems like a great tool for bird watchers, but it's got to have some serious implications for conservation as well, right?
Absolutely. BirdNet is a really powerful tool for monitoring bird populations, tracking their migration patterns,
Okay.
and identifying areas where they might be facing threats from habitat loss or climate change.
Right.
It's also a great way to engage citizen scientists, letting anyone with a smartphone contribute valuable data to research.
I love that idea. It's like democratizing science. Everyone can be a part of it.
I agree.
Are there any other really ambitious projects out there that are like pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI and animal communication?
Definitely. The Earth Species Project is taking a particularly bold approach.
Okay.
Their goal is to develop AI models that can decode animal communication across a wide range of species,
Wow.
not just focusing on one group like whales or birds.
That's a massive undertaking. What's their strategy for tackling such a huge challenge?
Well, they're focusing on self-supervised learning,
Okay.
training their models on massive amounts of unlabeled data like audio recordings, videos, and even genetic information.
Wow.
They're looking for those underlying patterns and structures in communication that might be universal across different species.
So it's like searching for a kind of Rosetta Stone for the animal kingdom. Do they really think we'll one day be able to like have conversations with animals like in a sci-fi movie?
Well, they're careful about making such grand predictions.
Right.
But they do believe that even if that kind of direct human-like conversation isn't possible,
Okay.
we can still gain profound insights into animal minds and behaviors through this research. They envision a future where AI can help us understand the needs, the desires, and the perspectives of other species,
Right.
ultimately leading to a more harmonious coexistence.
That's a beautiful vision. It really makes you think about the potential here. It's not just about decoding sounds, it's about bridging the gap between humans and the natural world in a whole new way.
Exactly. It's about expanding our circle of empathy and recognizing the interconnectedness of all living things.
Wow, this has been an incredible journey. It's clear that AI has the power to revolutionize how we understand and interact with the animal world.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today. It's been truly enlightening.
it's been my pleasure. This is a field that's constantly evolving with new discoveries being made all the time. It's an exciting time to be paying attention to this fascinating world of animal communication.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, curiosity is the key that unlocks the wonders of the universe. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep listening to the voices of the natural world.